extreme change over a 200-year period. And the research I've done recently has been about what this change is and why it's happened. So early in the church, if you don't know anything about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they're also called Mormon. And they were, there you go, and they were originally founded in the eastern United States and walked all the way across the plains to Utah, where now the capital, or where the headquarters of the church is located. And in the early church, their form of Christianity, but a particular form with its own special doctrine and books of scripture. In the early church, there was a strong eco-theological element of the faith. In fact, it was so strong that it was considered a core aspect of the church's teachings. And one scholar said there are scarcely any religious traditions with so many explicit revelations and teachings about the centrality of our careful stewardship of material resources. These doctrines exceeded normal Christian doctrines. All of the Christian doctrines that you can associate with the environment were still there. Things like stewardship of the environment being important, or believing that we need to care for the poor through ensuring that the earth is healthy enough for everyone to have access to resources. LDS doctrine, LDS is a shorthand for Latter-day Saint or Mormon. LDS doctrine included other ideas, that the earth is alive, for example. This is called vitalism. It's the belief that the earth has its own spirit, and that therefore is able to even speak to people on particular occasions. That the earth has a purpose and a goal that it's trying to attain, and that beauty is a critical feature of theology. Beauty is not just something that happened, but it's something that we should aspire to and try to create within the world. So given this incredible doctrine, the early church created a new form of kind of eco-theocracy in the Intermountain West, where the church ran all of their communities, where all of the resources were managed by the church, and the communities were highly focused on ensuring that all of the resources were managed well. As one scholar wrote, and this is, I think, a really beautiful quote, "We had an ethic of stewardship once. It is in the muscularity of our history, evident in Brigham Young's meticulous blueprint for the Salt Lake Valley, carefully laid out through a pragmatic vision. He preached sustainable agriculture and dreamed of a united order while allotting time in general conference," which is the area where twice a year the church leaders speak to all of the members of the faith, "on appropriate farming practices and community vitality in harmony with the land." However, in spite of all of this, they saw something, an ecological collapse. This happened all across the American West. There was overgrazing, overlogging, and local animals were hunted to regional endangerment. This was because people coming from the East didn't know how to manage land in the West. It's a very different environment. But the church leaders recognized this, and they talked about how there's no profit in this. It's not pleasing in the sight of God. Simultaneously, as the church was founded in Salt Lake, there were major cultural shifts. The very early church had been extremely focused and insular, but as the Intercontinental Railway attached across the United States, settlers coming from abroad and coming from outside of the Utah area, which was its own country at the time, they brought their new ideas. And these ideas included individualism instead of communitarianism. And this, as a consequence of these new concepts and a focus on capitalism, this environmental theology was essentially forgotten. After that, there was a quiet period where nobody talked much about the environment at all. And that has actually continued until just about now. But there has been a minor change, which might actually be a major change. And that is that new church leaders are talking about the environment for the first time in about 150 years. And this shift is coming also from external pressures. All of this is to say, this is the paper you can look at to learn more about this. All this is to say that while theology has a major role to play on the way we think about the environment and the climate, so do wider cultural forces, and those change how people think about the environment. But they can also help change it back. So we may be seeing a renaissance of Latter-day Saint eco-theology. Thank you very much.